Hi everybody. Sorry, hi everybody. I'm not too sure. It says I'm live, so yeah, I can see somebody watching. Thanks, guys. All right, we're gonna do the. Hey Kim, how are you, sweetheart? We're going to do. Hey Kay. Oh, look, my lovely girls here supporting me.
Nice. Do I just press that? I'll just press that.
All right, sorry, I'm just helping my friend here while we get going. There we go.
Aha.
There you go. Hey everybody. Oh, hi Bron. How are you? Hi Kathy. Hi Patty. Yay. All right, so we're going to start today. Hi everybody that's out there. Hi Rosalie. So lovely to see you all. I can see every little name there coming up. All right, girls, we're going to start today with our little St. Paddy Day dominoes that you can paint on Eva. I thought I explained things a bit better than sometimes I do. So these are real dominoes that I have painted in white. And one dear friend of mine did say that using the chalky gesso white is really nice. Hi Andrea. On the dominoes, it comes up really nice too. I just use white acrylic, just the white Americana. I don't seal it. I don't put anything into it. So these little artificial ivory dominoes, I suppose I'd say they are. I get from a game shop, or you can get them from a toy shop. And I like these ones better. Some toy shops have these white plastic ones, girls. Don't get those. They're really not very nice to paint on at all. But here in Australia, Harry is making little wooden dominoes. And I know Doug from Pinecraft Inc. in the US is making the little wooden dominoes as well. So you can just white cover these and paint on them. Now, Patty said a good question last time and I missed it until later. I have painted all of these St. Paddy dominoes in black. So most of the edges I did come with the black. But if you would like to paint them, the edges in white, you can. Or if you want to leave the edges raw, you can as well, in the natural ivory color. The choices is yours. You can paint them green, you know, orange if you like. So yeah, so these are the real dominoes that I just put white over. The chalky white gesso would be lovely on it too. I just use white acrylic. So okay, we're going to go with, I reckon, these two little fun guys first. So we're going to go with our little clovers. So if you're fast, you can do both. We'll go with this little guy first. And did you notice, girls, I put clean towel down so that we look a bit tidier. All right. So I base coated mine in in Cali green, sorry. Doesn't matter if it's Irish moss, whatever colour you would like to do. And I'm going to do my angle shader. And I've already put out my colours, everybody. So I've already put out all my green. This is actually probably a good way to do it. I put out all my oranges in their values. So I've got, this is the fluoro orange, tangerine or mandarin, as my dear friend Sally called it, bright orange. I think I've got orange flame, cat orange, and a bit of Napa red. Then the greens I put out again, going from lightest to darkest. So we've got fluoro green, yellow green, Irish moss, Cali green, House of Dark green, black green, and I popped out just some black and white, warm beige, burnt sienna, bit of gold, and a little bit of, I think this is antique gold. So Aussie girls that might have Americana, that have Joe Sonia's, just a variety of greens, a variety of oranges, and some colours. So I'm going to use my angle shader. Just going to pop it into a bit of water. And I'm going to pick up some, just the tip. I'm going to pick up some sorry girls, I just have a lady asking a question privately, so I'm just going to get to her. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so I'm going into the house of dark green. This is the part, joys of being live, is it? And I'm going to do it back and forth. I'm going to pop a little bit of water just onto my palette here. So if just tip the tip of your brush just into a bit of water, give it a bit of a drink. And we just want a soft float. You know, we don't want it to be hard. If the float's harsh like this on your paper, on your palette, it's going to be harsh when you come and lay it onto your domino. Okay, perfect. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and float around the edge of my little clover. I'm hoping that's dark enough that you can see. So I'm floating around. The edge of the clover. This is in House of Dark Green. So I'm using House of Dark Green. Pick up that little bit of water if you need to make that paint move a little bit. I don't mop. I know I'm going to be dry brushing over the top. I do try and eliminate any hard edges. No, we don't want those hard edges. So I'm going to come in underneath as well. And I'm going to float some green just on that little stem. And I'm also going to, I haven't drawn my face or anything on, but I'm just imagining that just in the middle here is my little nose. So I'm just going to float a little bit of colour around what I would call my little nose here. Again, softening any hard edge. Okay, so we just floated that in and around. Now I'm going to use a number 1 round, or you could use a number 2 round. And I'm going to come back into, so if you look at these two colours, we've got Cali Green and we've got Irish Moss. I'm just going to mix the two together just to get a middle value so the jump's not so big between the two values. Okay. Now I'm going to have some, I've loaded up my brush, but I'm going to take off some of that excess paint. Okay, I'm just going to pull some off, tap a bit of colour off. Now I'm going to start from in this middle section part of the clover, and I'm going to start to dry brush. Some colour. Secret is with this dry brushing is don't take off the moist paint off your brush.
Susan wants to know, she can't enlarge it, is it just her computer?
I'm so sorry, Susan, that it couldn't enlarge. Hang on, just let me see. I can't get it enlarged, is it just my computer? Oh, all right. Do you need, so my picture, do you think the picture needs to be closer? Maybe it is your computer. Yes, Susan. Is everyone else can let me know if they're seeing it okay, or do I need to bring it in a little bit? I can bring it in a little bit closer. Okay. I think that's about as large as I can go, girls. And then, again, I'm dry brushing. So sorry, Susan, I think it may be your computer.
Kim says it's fine there.
Okay, cool. So we're just dry brushing. And you mightn't be able to see this colour too much. I'm just dry brushing. Sorry, I'm going to take some of that excess paint off. I tapped that with my finger actually because I didn't like the amount of paint that I had on there. I want to build that colour up gradually, tapping some of that excess paint off. And I'm just dry brushing light in. Now on this one, I do it a bit differently than the small one. So I'm dry brushing in, I suppose, little veins or those little lines onto the clover. So I'm going to hold, now that colour that I've just used, you can also bring in a little bit of his nose.
Susan said it must be her computer.
Yep, I'm so sorry. Into Irish moss now, and I don't really clean my brush, I'm just picking up Irish moss. I'm going to tap off that excess and I'm going to come and lighten. My brush is really vertical, everybody, so when I'm doing it really vertical, just using that tip of my brush and dry brushing like this. Dry brushing these fine little highlights. They're fine little lines, but the lines are really close together to create a softness. Okay, so we're going up the top here. Soft touch. I seriously am just skimming, like I'm just touching it. Again, watching the amount of paint. Okay, so I'm just lightly using Irish moss now. And I'm just lightening in. Just the Irish moss. Don't forget to lighten that little nose. And I'm going to pick up yellow green. And again, I'm sort of mixing it into that little puddle of Irish moss that I've got. I'm taking off that excess and I'm going to lighten. Now this is your little clover. You can make it as light as you like. Sorry girls, I've just got another private message. I must be hard to find today. So I'm lightening now with yellow green. I'm pretty sure I put it on public. All right, so I'm lightening. Now then, the choice is yours. Don't forget to lighten the nose. Lighten his little stem. And I made the little divisions of the four-leaf clover look a little bit like love hearts. Okay, then you can go with the fluoro green. Thermal green, I think it's called. It's that neon colour. And if you really want to brighten him, you can brighten him with a little bit of that. And again, the choice is yours. If you do not want to make him that bright, you don't need to. I just love the neons. I love the neons for Christmas, for anything like that. I'm just pulling those little strokes in. Right, just putting some little ones in. Hoping I'm a bit easier to find now. I've had a few not be able to. All right, so we're just putting, as I'm fiddling myself, just put your light in. You can make it as light as you like. Now I don't want to go too fast. I'm being good today, hopefully. I've made lamp black, and I'm just going to, with some lamp black, use my stylus, and I'm going to put in my eyes. Cheating here.
Talia's watching you.
Okay, hi Talia. Now, I'm also going to use that lamp black and give myself a little smile. I'm just using my little liner. Some little smile lines. Now you can use a long liner. I like this long liner, or if you prefer, you can use your short little liner, whichever liner you're comfortable with. And I'm going to come in with some titanium white, add a bit of water. Remember, you want it to be of an inky consistency, so that it's just going to come off nicely off your brush. And I'm going to come and add some little white lines along the edge.
Kathy from Apple Valley, California says hello.
Hi Kathy. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. We can add a little, thought that could look a cute little hair on his head. I wrote luck. You don't need to, you can write whatever you like, or you can leave it plain and not write anything. Again, just use your little brush. Add a white highlight, a little bit of highlight into his nose. Hey Glenda, glad you got on. I must be hard to find today. Okay. This is what I love, having my friends there, knowing you're all there. Little eyebrows if you want. Now, if you need to touch up your background with white, you can. If you'd like to make your background orange, you can. If you want to, make the background black, it doesn't matter. I don't mind what color you make the background. And I did use on the background, in the white, the ice, the galaxy glitter, the comet, what is it? Clear ice comet. So you can add some nice bits of glitter into here. When it's dry, I will bring white highlight into those eyes. All right, so we're going to pop him aside. I'll put him up here. Because this little guy's very much similar, the same. That's really good English or Australianisms, isn't it? Really good, the same. Yeah. So this time I did use my go-to brush, which is my little number 6 Dynasty 200. You can see how loved it is, and you can see by the look of it that I'm in desperate need of a new one, and I'm trying to get some number 4s as well. So, and this was really, now we're going to come with our angle shader into our House of Dark Green, and we're going to float exactly like we did the other one, our shadows up under the hat, and we're going to float shadows around.
Says morning, my sunshine.
Oh, hi Linda. It is morning here. It's what is it here? It's 20 past 10. Oh, sorry everyone, you're not seeing that very well. So I'm floating around the outside edge. And this is in House of Dark Green. It's exactly just like we sort of did with that other little clover over here. And add some shadow into that stem. Add a little bit of shadow onto the edge of the green band. And if you like, you can have an orange band. You know, the choice again is yours as to what you would like on your hat, bands, anything. These can be used on anything. I had a lady ask me, what did I actually do with them? What did we do with them? Well, I glue a bail up the top here, E6000 or just a good super glue, and then you can wear it as a pendant. You can put and I do clean the backs, everybody. I'll talk about that later. I do clean. And then you can glue a brooch back to the back of it, or you can put a magnet on them and use it as a fridge magnet. If you have grandchildren, if you add the bail to it or a really good bail clip to the side, the kids can hang them from their school bags, you can hang them from your purse, you can hang them from your keys, and play around and really put them onto anything. So now I'm picking up the colour combination that I used before, Kelly green mix. I'm going to pick it up in my dry brush. I haven't moistened this Dynasty Dome. It's a dry brush. You can use a dome brush, whatever brush. It's a dry brush, so you don't want to put any moisture in. I'm picking up the paint, but then I'm going to use either my towel or a paper towel, and I'm going to take off that excess. Blop some of that paint off. And then I'm going to look at where I want it the lightest. And this time, instead of doing the long strokes like we did on this one, I'm going to dry brush it in. Circular, doing circular action like this, like rouge in a face. You can use this brush and do this straight up, but again, you can see here, I'm going to take that excess paint off, and I'm going to dry brush it around. Sorry, just holding this little guy. Now I'm going to come back in Kelly green. I haven't cleaned my brush. I'm just picking up Kelly green onto the brush. Again, paper towel, take it off, take that excess paint out of there, and I'm going to do the highlight. Okay, don't forget to do your little stem. Then I'm going to pick up yellow green. And again, I haven't cleaned my brush. I'm just picking those colours up onto the paper towel again, take off that excess. Every time I load, I wipe it off, wipe off the excess paint. putting it onto the stem, picking up more. Just going to pick up a little bit more yellow-green. I'm going to wipe my brush clean and pick up pure yellow-green, I think, and then just take that excess off. Taking the excess off. So we've used House of Dark Green around the edge, and now we're using our lighter greens and lightening. I'm using my dry brush, Dynasty 200, and I'm just lightly putting it in. I don't push very hard. I'm skimming it over, just tickle, 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 like this. Now I'm going to go into the neon green, that bright green. Tap that excess off, tap that excess off. And lighten. Okay, so we're tapping that excess off and lightening onto the stem. Just lightly skimming it over. Don't be. Now I'm going to clean my brush out now. And I'm going to use the same greens just lightly onto this little band. Now, if you haven't blocked in, and the band can be in orange though, everybody, you know, if you think, oh, it's too much green, I want to put a bit of orange in there, you can easily make the band orange. The little buckle at the moment has just been blocked in that antique gold. Well, I've got my brush here, I'm just tapping in a little bit more highlight. And again, it's your clover. You can make it as light or as dark as you like. Okay. Don't want to go too fast. So the same thing, I'm going to come with my stylus again and cheat and come into lamp black, and I'm going to pop in two little eyes. Okay, and again I'm going to come with the liner and give him a little smile. Little cheeks in. Oh, he's got a cute little, I like his little smile. Okay, I'm not going to leave to touch that. And then again, coming with your liner in titanium white and adding some little swirls if you like.
Looks so happy.
Yes, he's won the lottery, do you think, or won the pot of gold? Oops, sorry, it was a bit too close there. So we're just scrolling in. You can hit and miss. I just do a round, bring it around. But where I might add a little comma later, I'll wait for it to be dry. And then I'll come in now and add the little comma to it. I'm going to come in now and add the little comma. So I'm going to just do my little bit of white across here, down around here. And again, where I want to bring that little comma, or a little dot. I'll bring it back and add it. Now on this one, you can add a little highlight. I didn't add the little highlight on the stem here. And you can see that I'm going to come back now and add a little white highlight into his eyes. And if you like, you can add just some little highlight, just a little bit under his nose here. Just around that little nose. Oop, a bit bright. I had to be careful. I didn't want it to make like he had a mustache around there. Now I just mixed a little bit of white with the black and just made a grey. Just some black and white. Make yourself like a bit of a grey. And I just lightened the hat. It's that black hat with a bit of colour. Pick up a bit of white, and I'm just using my liner, and I just brought in some little dry brushing white highlights onto the hat. Now again, the buckle I did in antique gold first, and then literally everyone just came with 24 karat gold and base coat over in that 24 karat gold. Picked up a little bit of white, added a white highlight. Now again, the choices are yours. You can give him little eyebrows if you want. You could give him little hair. You can play around. You can see the difference here where I haven't base coated this in black. The black edging just, I think, helps frame it a little bit. You know, sort of pops him out a little bit. But again, you could just paint it white if you prefer it not so dark. You can bring white along the edge. Add white glitter. Again, in this area here, the white areas, you can see that I added the crystal. Added some glitter here. And up on the little buckle, I did add some little gold as well. But I used the Glamour Dust gold, the more finer gold. But again, the choice is yours. Little white highlights in those eyes. And we have them. And we can always look at, if I look at an area and think, oh, I want it a bit brighter, I can come back with a bit of yellow green and a bit of neon green, and I might just dry brush a bit of colour. Where I might want it a bit brighter. I didn't give this little guy a nose, but if you want to, you certainly may. Okay, so we can just fiddle and play. All right. I don't want to go too fast, but we're going to move on to this one. I'll put this little guy here. And the techniques are really similar in all of them. So again, with the hat, we're going to do the same thing. So I blocked in his little hat in Irish moss, shoes in black, socks in orange, white and green. You can do it however you like. The black headband, done this little 4-leaf clover in black green, but I should show too. All right, I'm going to show that when I got my black green, I didn't just block in my clovers. I actually did like a little comma stroke and did like a little stroke and produced a little heart. So then I went to this other side and did a little stroke again and another little heart. Okay, then I'm going to come to the other side, and I'm going to do another little stroke and another little stroke, and there's our little 3-leaf clover. And then I can just come with a stem and bring a stem down. So if you even for a 4-leaf clover, you can just do a stroke, produce a little heart, do a stroke, produce another little heart. Sorry everyone, I need you to see that. Do a little stroke, produce another little heart, and then down.
It's so cute, she loves the legs.
A stroke and stroke, and have another little heart. So we can produce our clovers just by doing little hearts together. And then of course adding a stem. Alright, so I just didn't block mine in, I actually did like a bit of stroke work when I put them in. A lot of these little designs, apart from the gnome, came from the St. Paddy Day cake plate that I've done, so I just reinvented some of them. So this was on a little cookie that I'd done on the little cake plate as well. So again, we're going to come back with that house of dark green, and we're going to float in our shadows along the edge of that hat and around. Now everybody, I did just put out for myself some Payne's Grey. So you might, if you don't have Payne's Grey out, you might want to pop out just a little bit of Payne's Grey along that edge. You can add a bit of shadow under that clover. And again, we're using our greens. So we're going to come back with the Kelly green and Irish moss mix. Now remember, take that excess paint off, and we're going to dry brush, highlighting, dry brush around that rim of the hat. And the idea for the little legs coming out of the St. Paddy's Day, the hat, was really because, you know, I've seen on other, well, I've seen witches' legs coming out of a witch's hat and different things like that. So I thought, oh, little St. Paddy's Day legs would be cute coming out of a hat. So then I'm picking up Irish moss now, and I'm lightening with Irish moss. And I'm just lightening. And again, this is your hat. You can get some yellow green. And I never, everyone, honestly, I don't clean my brush out. I transfer the colour. I just pick it up and go, pick it up and go. All right, so we're lightening. Lightning. I have my dear friend Kathy here helping me. She's such a great help. She worries, but she does amazing.
Thank you.
Where would we be without our friends, eh? Talia, I was going to ask my dear daughter-in-law Talia, but yesterday she went on a wine hop, so I was a bit concerned that she might have still been a bit. And yesterday here in Australia it rained, and she was posting pictures of them in their raincoats at the wine hop, dancing to Footloose and everything. So I worried that she might have been feeling some ill effects.
I'm sure she enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure she had the best time. Okay, so just lightening that little hat up. We'll come back later and pick up a little bit of white light and lighten it a bit more. I'm going to use now I do clean my brush out. Now we're going to use our angle shader again. And I'm going to come back with that, sorry girls, House of Dark Green, oh no, sorry, ignore me. We're going to come with Payne's Grey. Here's my Payne's Grey. I didn't mix it too well, and we're just going to do a soft float. Now be careful with that Payne's Grey. It's a strong colour. Blend. Remember, if it's strong on your palette, it's going to be strong when you put it onto your piece. So I'm blending. This is a nice soft Payne's Grey float. You know, we don't want to go as harsh as this. So I'm going to come up on this side of his little socks and do a float. I'm going to come up on this side of the other one and do a float. Okay, then we're going to let it dry. Reason that I'm going to let it dry, if we come and do this other side, we could wipe away just what we've done. So we'll let that dry and we'll come back. So I'm going to use my little round again because I don't have a small enough dome brush to do it. So I'm coming in with some black. And again, look, you could put out zinc if you want, or you could put out slate grey. But for the little amount that we're using, I'm just going to mix white in with my black and make grey. And often I do this. I'm too lazy to put out another grey. So I'm going to come now and I'm going to start to lighten our little shoes. So I'm coming just along the little top part of his little shoe and just a little bit of highlight onto the little boots, I suppose, shoes or boots. Take that excess off. If you go a little bit light or you go a little bit bright, always bring some black back and soften it back. While I've got that colour, that grey, don't forget to do your little black band on the hat. Now the band can be orange, you can again change the colour. Now I'm wiping the brush clean, not putting it in water, I've just wiped it clean. I'm picking up a bit more white and I'm going to lighten. So I'm just lightening that little band along the top of his boot here. I'm just lightening and I'm going to just lighten a little bit of this little shoe. Okay, don't forget to lighten his little band. Sorry, I'm just going to pick up a bit of colour. Just lighten up that little band. So now our Payne's Grey should be dry. So I'm going to come along the other edge and float Payne's grey down the other side of his leg. And I'm bringing Payne's grey down. That side of his leg. And again, we're going to let it dry. So I'll put Payne's grey down this side along over the top of the sock and on this side, and now I've come on the other side. I've let this side dry, then I've come and done the other side. I'm going to pick up some 24 karat gold. I'll try not to go fast. And I'm just going to re-gold my buckle in. Some of you may have already done it in gold, which is great. You can use any gold that you like, but my favourite gold is 24 karat, so it seems to be my go-to gold. And I'm also going to just do a little bit of 24 karat gold, little buckle down on his shoe. Just going to put a bit of 24 karat gold, little buckle down on that little boot there. I'm just going to touch my little guy up there. And again, my sides, I did base coat in black. Again, the choice is yours. And I kept the white background here that again, I did add the ice crystal and everything into as well. Now, if my socks are dry, I'm now going to come again with the Payne's grey. And I'm going to do a little float under the hat, onto the socks, but under the hat. Right, so I'm just strengthening that little bit of Payne's grey there. I'm just looking at any little bits of details. I want to lighten my hat, so I'm going to come back with that yellow green, maybe a bit of neon with it. I'm going to look at where I would like that hat lighter. And again, it's your hat. If you would prefer the hat to be dark and have the clover as light, I don't mind. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that colour. And I'm just going to lighten, which is the yellow green with a bit of neon. Just add in a bit of white. I'm just going to highlight that little bit of a rim. Bit of highlight up on the top of the hat here. I'm just dry brushing little paint. I'd rather you feel like you've got nothing on your brush and you just feel like, I'm not even putting any colour down, what you're talking about, but you will be laying colour very lightly. Now we can come back into that mix with the Irish moss. And we're just going to lighten the middle part of the sock. So just a little bit in that middle section. Just dry brush it on. Notice I use my finger and tap a bit of that off. Back into some of the Irish moss, a little bit of yellow green, sort of the light colours that you've used on your hat. You're going to use that in the centre of your little sock there. Just brighten that sock up. Pick up some titanium white. And of course we're going to lighten the white part. Okay, so particularly the middle girl into here. Think the highlight's going to be in this middle section because it's something that's round. You know, it's looking like that sort of round. Highlight will be here, not on the edges. Your shadows on the edges, highlights in this center bit. You can pick up some orange flame if you would like. And we're going to lighten the little orange sections that you can see. Then you can pick up some bright orange. We're just going for lighter values. Some tangerine, bit of torrid orange, which is a neon colour, and I'm lightening up just the middle bit of these socks. Don't lose your Payne's grey shadows. If you do, then you can just bring them back in. These could, yep, will look awesome on a, you could, they look lovely actually. I had one lady say to me that she thought they would look really amazing. I'm mixing some House of Dark Green and a little bit of white. Just making like this light green colour. And again, you could do a brighter green. And I'm going to use my liner, and I'm just lightly, I'm adding a bit more white to mine. Going to outline the little clover. I missed the little clover stem. Just going to bring that back in. So I'm just using House of Dark Green with white. You can make this as light or not so light. Use your little clover. You could add a face to this clover if you like. Have a little smiley face looking out at you. I just did on this one a little dot with little veins coming from it, but maybe that's a cute idea. Maybe we'll go with that. Put a little smile on him. We could do anything. You could make him look like a little clover or put a little face on the little clover. I think that's a nice thing. There's no rules, is there, everybody? We can do whatever we like. All right, don't forget to add, you can add glitter to this little buckle if you like. I did add little white highlights to the buckles and glitter over the top. And then with the liner and a little bit of white. Everyone, I hardly have any white on this brush. Like, look at it. It's, tap it off if you need to. It's just skimming tiny amount of colour. And I just dry brushed it down here. You could do a side-by-side little float, but I just brought the white highlight down the edge, just using my liner and just dry brushing, just tapping a little bit of colour down the edge of that sock, just creating that little highlight. If you need to lighten his shoes a little bit more, we can. This is where we look at all the little finishing things and think, okay, what do we need to do to finish him off? All right, this is our little feet coming out of the hat. Let's put him aside, put him up there. Now both these little gnomes are very similar. Maybe we'll go with doing them. I don't want to go too fast, but we can do them similar to each other at the same time. All right, very repetitive techniques. So again, we're going to come with the angle shader and we are going to float in House of Dark Green onto his hats. So this little guy is going to have House of Dark Green along his rim here. And across the top, just creating a little band. I've made on this one the beard go all the way down. There's a bit of green here. Up to you. I think I'm going to leave his beard going all the way down on this one and not worry. Okay, his hat on this little guy is the same as the hat we just did. Down the edge. Down the edge. Oops, sorry.
Christine says hi, Karen.
Hi, Christine. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining us, or me today too, on your Saturday afternoons or evenings. It's Sunday, 11 o'clock here. In Queensland, it's 10. They don't do daylight saving. And I know you all in the States are getting ready to go to daylight saving, so. Okay, so we're just putting that hat, dark green in the hat. And again, we're using our greens and we're going to dry brush our highlights onto the hat. So you're going with the Kelly green and Irish moss mix, just so it's not such a jump in value. And we're going to highlight. So we're just coming in our green values again, getting lighter. We're just getting lighter. And I suppose with the Irish ancestry here in Australia, St. Paddy's Day can be quite a big event, would you say?
Yes,
you know, it's
definitely.
Lots of pubs. You have Irish pubs that will certainly be getting together. And as some of our restrictions here have been lifted and everything, I'm sure there'll be big St. Paddy Day celebrations going on this year. Okay, so we're lightening with the green. I'm going to come just into Irish moss now, remembering that I don't need to wash out my brush. I'm just picking up colour and wiping that colour off. Just dry brushing. You can use your dry brush, don't brush, smooshing brush, or I'm just using my little round. And I'm doing a very soft touch. Remember, my brushes are always quite vertical. And I'm just tapping that highlight colour in. And we have something in here in Australia to look forward to. The French Folk Art Guild, their convention in June will be going ahead. So yay, some normality or some things coming back. So anyone that's an Australian that is interested, it's a French Folk Art Guild. They're a lovely group. Hopefully, well, we're hoping it'll all be good by end of June. There's 3 of us Victorians definitely ready to go up. Okay, so we're lightening. You can come in with the yellow, green and the neon. And lightening up. Top of the hat. And again, you can go as light or as bright. If you don't have neons, you don't need to use them. You can glitter the hats if you like, everybody. You can see this part of the hat here. I did actually glitter. Okay, so I'm lightening. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to get some of my antique gold, and I'm just going to put my little buckle in. I forgot my little buckle on this guy. And again, you don't need to add buckles if you don't want. Okay, put that in. So our green hats are just the same. Now this little guy, I just did black little gloves. If you want them to be flesh coloured, you can. On this little guy, I did flesh little hands, just making them a little bit different. So I'm going to come into burnt sienna. I'm doing a float, remembering keep the colour not too strong. I'm going to float in the shadow on the bottom of his little nose. And I'm going to float the shadow in along the edge of the hands here. And I'm going to float shadow on his little nose. Oops, sorry, I picked up a bit of fluff there. There you go. That's a bit better. You can make the noses as big as small as whatever you like. That can be your little leprechaun gnomes. Now I'm going to let that dry. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to get a little bit of cadmium orange. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of Napa red. Right, with the cad orange. Just deepen that. If you have a burnt orange, that could probably work. And I'm going to float shadows under his hat. A little bit around the nose. I'm going to float shadows around the nose here, under the hat a little bit. And around the nose. You can also do just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow just around the horseshoe as well. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of shadow colour. I don't want to go too fast. I've just picked up a little bit of Napa red. Look how thin the Napa red is when I've picked it up. And it's a really thin wash of Napa red. We don't want it like this. It's not a float as strong as that. It's a float, soft. Just a soft, transparent float. That's what we want. We don't want it strong like this. We want this Napa red that you are going to come and add onto his nose.
You've got two Queenslanders that are excited for you.
Oh yes. Is that Karen and Anne?
Kim and
Kim,
Screen Hit.
Oh, Screen Hit, awesome. Yep, Chris, awesome. So excited. And I'm so excited in end of August coming up. I'll be coming up to Queensland. So much fun. All right, hopefully we'll get some travel happening again and everything, so it'll be great. All right, so we've got that in. Now I'm going to pick up, I'm using my round, I'm just going to pick up some warm beige. Sorry, I'm just going to clean my brush and try not to have any green on it. So we're picking up warm beige and we're going to lighten up his little nose. Lighten up his little nose. I think these noses I did were quite dark. I think I'm going to lighten them a little bit more. Lighten up. If you've got little flesh hands here, you can lighten up your little hands. Just dry brush it on. If you lose your shadows, we can always refloat them. Add a bit of white to your warm beige. And we're going to lighten. Lighten those noses. Sorry. We're lightening up his little hands. This nose is quite dark, so I'm making this nose definitely a bit lighter. And again, there's no, it's your little nose. Okay. I'm going to mix that black and white and make a grey. I'll look at what's in my brush and I'm just going to lighten. These are his little shoes here. Put little feet on these guys, this little one. Lighten up his little hands. Okay, we're going to lighten. I'm picking up white and I'm going to lighten up again. Lighten up those little shoes. Sorry, that one went a bit bright. Take off that excess. I'm taking off that excess paint where I need to. I've got that little bit of white and I'm just lightening these little black gloves here. And if you go too light, remember that you can always pick up a bit more black and kick it back. You look at it and go, whoa, your gloves are all of a sudden looking like they're grey and they're not black. Pull them back. Little amounts of paint. Like those little boots, so I'm going to leave them. Now, I'm going to come with this little fella's hair. So his little beard, I did in long strokes. And this little beard, I just did in the squiggles. That's a really great painting technique, isn't it? Squiggle, just squiggle. So this one, it's long, and you may do your beards however you would like to do your beards, to be quite honest. So we're going to come into a mix of cat orange and bright orange. I'm just going to mix those two together. And I'm going to start to lay. I'm going to go into cat orange and orange flame. Now I'm actually only going to use orange flame because you aren't seeing the colour. And it really depends on how much you want to gradually go down. So I'm starting up here and I'm just going to start to lay these little hairs. I don't know how well you can see them. I just don't want to jump too much. I'm just adding fine little hairs. And this is in orange flame. And on this little fella, I'm doing the same, but I'm just squiggling. Just squiggling them on. Little squiggles. Then I'm going to go into bright orange. I'm going down the orange colours that we've laid out. I'm adding some water to it because we want it to be an inky consistency so it flows off your brush nicely. Remember, I'm holding my brush really vertical, a hand anchored if you need. Get those little strokes happening. This is orange light, or bright orange. So we're lightening that beard. Pulling some little hairs up. Now you can give him eyes, or you can choose to not give him eyes. I know everyone, I give so many choices. But at the end of the day, these are your little dominoes and little people. You may do whatever you like. Sometimes I love hearing all the different ideas. And you think to yourself, oh, why didn't I think of that? So squiggles again onto here. I've made this little guy's beard squiggly. I hold the brush really vertical. I'm just doing little squiggles. Tapping some colour up here. Holding that brush vertically and just little squiggles. You can do both beards straight. You can do both beards squiggly curly. Up to you with what you would like to do. Then I've got the bright orange in my brush, and I'm going to pick up some tangerine. And I'm going lighter again. You should be able to see this colour too a little bit better. Now again, it's your beard. If you do not want to go a really bright orange, you don't need to. If you want to keep him having a darker looking orange beard, you may. Just putting the little light hairs in him here. And again, this is where you can make a choice of, oh, maybe I won't add eyes, or yes, I will. All right, so I'm adding highlight, little squiggle highlights onto his little beard. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Okay, I'm going to pick up some torrid orange, the neon orange, and I'm going to lighten with a little bit of neon orange. And again, he's yours. If you don't want to go with the bright neon orange, you don't need to.
Jenny has to go, but she said thank you for a fun afternoon.
Oh, thanks, Jenny. Take care and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, girls, for joining me on your Saturday evenings and afternoons, and my Aussie girls, which is Sunday morning. Queensland girls, it's bright, it's earlier for them. We don't lose daylight saving until Easter. Yeah. Right, so we're just tapping some light into those little hairs. Now, I'm going to get the 24 karat gold, and I'm going to bring his buckle in with the 24 karat gold, and I'm going to bring some 24 karat gold onto his horseshoe, and I'm just dry brushing that gold on. You can also add 24 karat, the glamour dust, the gold glitz. Now you can use your stylus or a round brush, and I'm adding thick little dots onto that horseshoe. This is in 24 karat gold, or you can use any gold that you have. Okay, again, here's little leaf or little clover here. I used House of Dark Green with white again. And, oops, sorry, I missed his little. And I just outlined again. Again, if you wanted a face, you could add a face. If you wanted to make him brighter, again, you could make him brighter. You could add glitter onto this little 4-leaf or 3-leaf clover. Again, the choice is yours as to what you would like to do with him. I did pick up some of the bright orange, and I did just on this top little section some little orange lines. Hoping you can see that okay. Maybe I'll go a bit lighter for you. Getting rid of that blob there. And then coming across the other way. I used my stylus into some Irish moss. Added some little dots along his little rim, and again his little cap. You could put a dollar sign. You could put a dollar sign on it. You could, you know, add anything. You could write luck on it again. You may add anything. You could change it. You don't need add little dots in between those little bits.
I do like the lighter noses.
Yeah. Yep. And I did, if you want to, again, you can come with the lamp black. And I did use my little stylus and give him little eyes if you want, or you can leave them eyeless without eyes if you don't want any eyes. Now don't forget, on his little horseshoe.
Kim says a pot of gold coins would look nice too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Kim, I should go inside and get it. I did a pot. I did a rainbow with a pot of gold and everything. But then I thought, oh, we're never going to. I always take so long. And then a friend had a really nice idea that maybe I should do a little pattern pack of all the extra dominoes that I've got and do a holiday little one with all the extra ideas that I have that I think, oh, I always take too much time. Where your little circles are, you can come and add a little highlighter black underneath one side of them. You probably need your little dots to be dry. And I've used black and I've shadowed just under the horseshoe. And now I'm going to come with white and highlight the top of the horseshoe. Not his beard though, everybody. And then highlight just the top of the little round circle parts. Again, highlight his buckle. Highlight the band. I'm just going to give their noses little white highlights and little highlights dots in their eyes. Whoops, that one's a bit big.
This is an extra of the dominoes would be brilliant.
Yep, cool, Kim, thank you. I reckon that would be brilliant too. Sorry, I'm going to fix that little eye. Give him a crazy looking eye. Hey everybody, that's not a good thing. Now again, remember you don't need to add the eyes if you do not want to. Look at these little fellas looking at you. Again, this is where you can add glitter. You could add little gems. I have these little gems that I get from they come in a pack like this and they're like $2. And they're for scrapbooking and everything. But I figured all I do is cut them and they already come self-adhesive. So I cut one out, use some pliers or a little bit of scissors, not pliers, you know, it's tweezers, and you could add a sparkle to them, maybe not.
Took off.
Yeah, maybe I added maybe the glue didn't stay adhered to it. Here we go. And you can add little gems to them. Maybe I should have gone with a lighter gem on that one, but you can always add little embellishments to them as well as the glitter. This one I added the glitter here. You could add the glitter on the hat. Again, the choices are yours where you want to add sparkle. Okay, last little guy. Now, I did this little background in black, but this time I'm going to leave the background white and maybe add gold glitter and just see what the difference is going to be. So we have a little leprechaun here. Again, I'm going to come with a little bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to just float some shadow just onto his little face here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm beige and I'm just going to pull some colour back. I hardly do any work on these guys. I can see I need to add a little black band to his little hat that I've already blocked in Kelly green. While I let that dry, I'm going to come with Kelly green on my liner brush and I'm just going to add some stripes. Onto Luck, the L. I'm doing green stripes. Oops. You can use Irish moss if you prefer. You can use dark green if you prefer. I'm just putting some stripes in. I'm going to add those stripes to the C as well. I kept these guys pretty simple. I'm going to come with titanium white. Again, have the titanium white inky. If you prefer a different colour, please use whatever you would like. And I'm going to come and add. You can add white dots if you prefer. Actually, Kim, sorry to direct to Kim, but everybody, what could look really nice is little dollar signs in there as well. You could add little clovers into them. maybe. No, maybe the gold dollars would have, the clovers might look really nice on the orange, but maybe the dollars would look better on the white, stand out a little bit more. Okay, little stripes. I'm coming with the Torrid orange flame. I'm going to add an orange stripe onto the white ones.
Maybe a glass of Guinness.
Oh, okay. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Kim just said maybe a glass of Guinness. That would be cute, hey? Right. I'm going to add a little bit of white to warm beige, and I'm going to pop in just a little nose there. I don't know if you can see it. Pop the little nose in. I'm going to come with Irish moss, and again we're using all the lighter greens, and we're just going to lighten up that hat. He's so little, everybody, I kept the detail to a minimum. A little bit of yellow green. A little bit of fluoro. I'm going to come with the brighter oranges again, and we're just going to lighten his little beard. You can do long strokes, and I did come with the orange, and I gave him some little eyebrows. Again, go through your orange colours, getting lighter and lighter. Pick up a bit of your torrid orange if you like. Depends on how bright you want your orange to be. Just tapped in those little details there. I know he's so little, everybody. I'm so sorry. I did a little gold buckle on his black band. See the thing that is sticking out the side here? This is his little ear. So if you're worried about what that growth might be, there is a little ear there that you don't need, but I sort of had the beard coming from under that. And I'm going to put in, and please forgive me at the moment, that's okay. I'm still having some eye issues from the tear in my eye again. There's still a little bit of blurriness, little mouth. I'm finding detail just a little bit harder still.
Kim wants to know, are you saying torrid orange or orid orange?
Torrid. Sorry, Kim, can't even understand the Australian. Torrid. So this is the colour that I use. So it's a neon, a Deco Art neon, and it's torrid orange. That's the neon that I use, and I really like for the green. I've been using the thermal green. This is the really last one that I use that's so bright. You know, they're the neon colours. I'm going to come with that Cali green, and I'm going to outline the letters. Okay, so we're just outlining the letters for luck. And I'm using the Cali green. Don't forget to add white highlights to the eyes. If you added eyes. And this time I've left this part light because I thought it looked a bit dark being black, but that's what I had done at the time. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do in this light section to camouflage it or to make it pop a little bit is I've popped out some extraterrestrial green, which is a galaxy glitter from Deco Art, of course, who are so wonderful, and even here in Australia, you know, supply me my paint and help me out. They're just great company. Okay, so I'm bringing, and if anyone needs any Deco Art paint here in Australia, Trish from Wildwood Arts and Crafts in South Australia is our distributor, so you can get all the Deco Art paints from her. Wildwood Arts. So I'm just putting that glitter in the middle, and I'm quite liking that. So you can really, again, make the choice. You could add gold glitter in the middle if you wanted to. Little gold coins. Okay. And then we can come and just add a little white highlight where we need. Now, one thing that I do want to say, and I've been really good in making myself a little note, is what I do use over my dominoes at the end is triple thick. I use the bottle. It's a gloss glaze. Now, when you are ready to use it, everybody, don't shake it, roll it. Because if you shake it, you're going to get lots of little air bubbles in that. So I don't shake, 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 shake. I roll it to mix it. And then I'm going to pop it out for you. Put it out. And you can see it's a thick amount. I might even need more. I'm going to use a flat brush or an angle shader. And I've got my domino. And I literally lay it on. Lay it on. Right, can you see how thick that is going on? I'm making sure that's fully covered. Now I do come with my brush and just lightly give a little pat of varnish along the side. But I lay it on quite nice and thickly. There's a nice coverage. I'm going to show again. So what I don't do is this. I don't brush it on this thin. Okay, I actually pick it up and lay it. And then that colour I tap down. Sort of like I'm pasting it on a little bit. I will add just some fine little bit of varnish along the edge. Of course, I don't make that thick because we don't want it to drip off. But you can see it's a really nice coverage. And normally I put them on a wire rack, and I have a big box that I'll cover I'll cover them with, so that lint won't fall on it. Because this might take 2-3 hours to dry. And here in Australia, I definitely cover them so we don't end up with a dead fly in them or anything like that. Okay, so this is definitely the thick way that I put over my dominoes with the triple thick varnish. Okay, so I'm just going to go So all of my little guys I would varnish with the triple thick like that. I'm just going to go back away a little bit. Oh, this is all our little guys done. So what I wanted to just show you all is next week we are doing Easter, but it will be half an hour early, so starting 9:30 for us, but it's half an hour early for Australia, but a half an hour later for the US, because you all have got daylight saving happening, so it'll be half hour later start for you. So I have got, oh, Kathy helping me, great, there you go. Now, so I'm doing Easter. So this is the Easter wreath, and this is what I call the cute Easter wreath. So we have like little bunnies and little chicks and just little Easter eggs all over it. Doug is making these. We've got them in Australia. And then on the other side, so that you can paint both sides and you can hang it, I have what I call a decorative side. So lots of stroke work, stuff done with paste, stuff done with those little stick-ons that I like to use, embellishments and glitter and bits like that. So you can either choose to do, if you want to join me, a wreath, or you might like to get the little single eggs. You might have something else. So this is what we're going to do. Next week we'll be working on, I think, the rabbit and a couple of the carrot and a couple of the decorative ones. Okay, so we have this, and then there also is our cute little, because we couldn't not do dominoes, our cute little dominoes. Okay, so we have them, which is the same. So all of this is on the pattern, which is available from my Etsy store, Karen Brower Designs, or it's available from me. You can contact me and we can pay. You can do PayPal, and I've done it at a really discounted rate where you get every pattern, and it's only $7 Australian, which equivalates to about $5.50 USA. So I hope that you can join me all for our 2 weeks of Easter celebrations. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me today. Have a happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all. Bye.